So, this I've been excited about for some time. This is my studio. Now, I've been building this over the past few days, and it is turning out to be quite the exquisite little setup. So, I'll go through some basic features and then we'll go in with the main body of the video. In a nutshell, it's this. It's triple screens with Infinity connected to an RX 6600 8GB connected to my ThinkPad P51 with a custom built desktop with an old RX 480 set up as a custom streaming PC capturing the center monitor via Elgato HD60. We've got a projector, which is just up there on that shelf, to allow me to watch back the stream, or anyone that's sat there even can possibly join in and sit and watch if that's the sort of thing, but we can just chill and watch TV. So this is the basic setup. I'm just loading into Pro Mods now. You can see I've got OBS open here, connected to that desktop. Now I'm going to go into the details later on in the video, but basically I'm going to show you first how it began and how it is. A little sneak preview behind here as well. This is not great. This is basically just a storage unit at the moment, but it's nice. It's nice. It's a nice little storage unit. It'll eventually be a jamming area, and we'll have the drum kits up and all that. But all of this was here. So let's have a look how we got to this beautiful setup. Just dismantling the old setup. So this is all the equipment we got thus far, and then we got all that. That's Genso. Then that area, that's where it's all going. I need to get so much stuff. But yeah, doing a full overhaul of the L Studio Death, the Milo Studios. Yes, yes, yes. It's gonna be glorious when it's done. So as you can see, we've cleared the old music production setup, which is a good thing because my neighbour's bedroom is right there, so it's pointless it being there anyway. And then we've cleared out all this equipment, and then I'm just sort of storing it here. That's going to go where that is, and then this area, all of this has got to be cleared out, that speaker and all that, and then I'm going to put a presentation desk there, so this yellow desk, and then this desk is going there. We're going to build some sick setup. I'm looking forward to it, basically, having it set up, because what I want to do basically is triple screen, triple 32-inch TVs as like a sim pit sort of thing. So I'm going to use the speaker. It all will be revealed, but yeah, there's just a load of stuff I don't use. Like, so this drum kit, like I never play the drums, and I rarely have anyone coming to want to play drums either. And I've got a bass cab and a guitar amp combo. That's some of my friend's art. It's a real amazing art. His name's Benjamin Joseph Hammond. It's called Calamity Mixtape on YouTube. Yeah, so I'm going to basically make a big storage area there, and then rebuild this area into a sim pit, basically. Fucking sweet, pardon my French. And I've got my new graphics card here in the eGPU caddy, which is the RX 6600 8GB. In fact, I've got the box here. I'll show you the exact model I've got. I've got this bad boy, which shows you the specs. PCI Gen 4. I mean, like, it's not using that because it's the Lenovo Booststation is limited to PCI Gen 3, but it still gets pretty good performance. It's limited a little bit due to the Thunderbolt 3 connection, which is this little USB-C cable going into the back there, which means that it's only running at 4x speed. So there's a lot of wasted potential potentially, but overall it's such a huge upgrade to the RX 480, which, let me discuss that with you. The RX 480 that I've been plodding along with is in here. Look, this is my music production desktop, but I've only got Ableton 9 on here and I can't afford another copy, so I'm going to move over to using my laptop for music production. This is going to be a dedicated streaming PC, at least for the time being. It's got some pretty beastie specs as well for back in the day. It's got an i7 3770K, 8 threads. It will have 32 gigs of RAM next week, but it's got 16 at the moment. It's got RX 480, 650 watt power supply, 500 gig SSD, 2 terabyte hard drive. And we're going to just wipe a lot of that and then take the drive, blah, 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 blah. I'll go through all that in a bit. And the star of the show is obviously my ThinkPad P51 and docking station. Look at all this. This is partly why I'm doing this, is just to get rid of all the cable. You should have seen this earlier. Like, all that was just there, like wired in badly with all these wires, and it just looked horrible. So I've got this is going to be like the main hub, and then I'm going to have the desktop underneath here as a dedicated streaming PC using my capture card and stuff. So it should be quite sweet little setup. So I think the next thing you'll probably see will probably be I don't know, some sort of time lapse or sped up footage. We'll see how we go. Bye. So we've got the sofa in, we've got a bit of space cleared now. Now to tackle the elephant in the room, this huge pile of stuff. So I'll show you the results of that. Right, so this is the space where the big setup is going. I've got all of that to orchestrate and organize. This is going to be an interesting process. So right, there's a quick time lapse of the basic build. So that's going to be for presenting TechDave videos. This is going to be the gaming center, and then this will be my streaming PC. So I've got to get it all wired in. I decided, because I've not got much space on my SD card, I'm going to do all the rest of this gubbins. Well, I'm going to do the desk setup off camera and then do a bit of a grand reveal for you. So look forward to that. So hopefully that gave you some insight into how I set this all up. Right, what we're doing, get some extra light for this purposes of this. What we're going to do now is I'm going to talk you through all the hardware and the specs. Also, there's my X200 here that we should be in the next one of the next videos doing an XP build. I've already done the build for it in a previous video, so look in the cards. But we'll be showing some gameplay with that. So this desk has been set up specifically to be at that angle for presenting ThinkPad content. Then we've got a nice seating area. We've got my storage area for all my music equipment, which I ain't using most of it at the moment, but there will be an acoustic jam area with the cajon, acoustic guitars, blah, 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 blah. Gonna work on this moving forward in the future. My buddy's coming to help me set this drum kit up lovely tonight. There's my filing cabinet with all my music cables, blah, 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 blah. So we've got a seating area. We've got my first year of my degree, certificate of higher education, grade 8. We've got my Schizophreniforms channel, we've got my music channel, David Bradley, we've got TechDave, all under the banner of Milo Studios. This is only notes. That shouldn't be there at the moment, but it won't. It's going to go across there so I can put another monitor on it, but I haven't quite gotten around to that yet. So, let's talk about, where do we begin? Let's move this chair out of the way. So the brains of the operation is the ThinkPad P51. Now, up in the cards here, there'll be a video that shows you all the specifications of that, but just as an overview, i7 7820HQ, 32 gigs DDR4, 2400 megahertz, built-in 4 gig Quadro. Now at the back, down here, the thing giving its graphical fidelity is my brand new, in the Lenovo Legion Booststation, my brand new RX. Well, it was bought used, but like it was mint condition and all sorts, and didn't even need a repaste. RX 6600, I don't know how to say it, 6600, 8GB with ray tracing. And then we've got three 32-inch HD TVs, which if you look just like this, all I need to do to make this perfect is just notch that up a little bit, which will be done when I put the monitor in. I've got the wood ready, it's just wet because it was been outside, so that won't be such an issue, and it gives you a lovely peripheral vision, especially if I'll show you, like, look how much field of view you get. 5760 by 1080p. I can't even fit it in even on the wide angle. And then I've got my force feedback steering wheel, which is lovely, which is just a little Gran Turismo, I think it's an Xbox one or a PC one. Then down here we've got supplies for Elite Dangerous, which leaves an open and a cheeky bottle of wine. I've got my headphones. I've got 1 amp connected to those big silver speakers, which is the audio from the M box, which is that blue and white one at the back, which is connected to the desktop, which is connected to this microphone. And then I've got a second sound card that takes a line out from the M box, and that takes a line out to this amp, which takes these speakers and these speakers. And then I've also got a mixer which also goes to that amp, which connects via Firewire, via this express card adapter just there, for doing music production on the quad speaker system. Then I've got my X230 here just for watching back the chat while driving. And then I've got my projector setup attached to the Quadro built in via the docking station, because I've got the Lenovo ThinkPad P51 a docking station. I can't remember the exact name of that, but I'll try and pop it on screen. Then we've got a little 1650 by 1080p monitor attached to my custom build here, which is lovely and red. It used to have my partner's computer in it, and then I upgraded to basically the same configuration I had that my partner's now got, but with slightly less flashy parts. So I've got the RX 480, i7 3770K with the stock cooler, 16 gigs DDR3, 1333, but I'm going to add another 16 gig set to that eventually, 2 terabyte hard drive, 500 gig SSD. I've got a little Lenovo matching mouse and keyboard attached to that as well. And then this is over here just for typing, and then I've got the mouse under there if I need to make any emergencies. I'm also using Control Cast, which is this brilliant bit of software that for example mutes the onboard audio. I've got a starting soon scene, I'll be right back. I've got this angle, but I'll show you this angle from this camera as the main view, and then that one as well. But I'll shift over to this and do some driving for you and show you a bit more about that. But the whole point is I can got all my camera angles and be right back and start in. I've got mute outgoing audio, I've got start recording, and I've got start streaming, all assigned using Control Cast. So I'll try and put the URL there for Control Cast, because if you've got a launchpad, it's brilliant. What else can I tell you about this setup? Other than the fact that it's like a dream come true, I built it primarily for streaming. Oh, I've got some nice lighting that I have on in the background as well. Let's just get my sparkly little lights on the go. And then we'll switch over to some footage actually captured on it. We've got this little LED remote for these top fairy lights. Just going to put on fade. There, all the ones around the top there. Audio routing is also something that's interesting. So we go out of here. That was complicated to set up, but basically I've got an audio feed coming out of the center monitor, so that my Elgato HD60, which is, I'm capturing just the center monitor, as you can see there, to go to the stream, so that is sending the game audio. Then that mic goes to Discord and the stream. As you can see, it's bouncing up and down as I talk. It is bouncing up and down as I talk. And then I've got a line out, the headphone out of the TV going into those headphones, but then I've passed through the audio from there, so that from that card to that card, then I've turned on listen to this device on that as the input in Windows, and then the output is set to the Elgato. So I've got, it took ages to figure that out, a lot of research. And then I've got this really nice mic, which is an SE Electronics one, I think I showed you earlier. And then I've got this little boundary mic, a Yoga one. Can't see what brand it is. CT-07A. That tends to be a bit more noisy and give you a bit more of the room noise, but it's good if I want to walk away from my computer, or there's more than one person in the room or something. So this is basically the whole setup. I think I've explained every aspect of it. So what I'm probably going to do is cut to some footage captured directly from it. And if you look on the channel, I'll try and link one at least in the cards there. I've done some streaming to show you how that works out. I seem to be able to stream at 1080p 60 frames per second at 10,000 kilobits on YouTube, and then obviously there's a 6,000 kilobit limit on Twitch. Now I'm going to type here twitch.tv/TechDave official. That's me, find me there. Obviously you can see me on YouTube already because you're watching this on YouTube. But yeah, I'm at twitch.tv/TechDave official. You can find me on Twitter as well if you want to know when I'm streaming. I tend to post on there when I'm about to stream at /drbradley46. So this is the setup. I'm going to show you a bit of footage as though I'm live streaming, but I'm not actually going to live stream it, although I could live stream and record at the same time. So yeah, I guess we've got the little downlight in there. That's the only thing I haven't mentioned. I've got like backlighting in case I want to use a green screen, and then I've got like, look at that, that is such a nice ambience as well. And if you look how that looks, well, you'll see in a minute, but it just, you get all the sparkles and the shininess, and it's wonderful. So that's basically the complete setup. I'm going to switch over now to capturing on there, and then we'll do an outro and some conclusions. So thanks for watching thus far, and I shall see you with some capture. So here we are on recording on my desktop. Let me just show you what it looks like. So these are the two angles I've got. My voice will stop for a second, and then I've got this angle. So I can kind of maneuver this camera to wherever's best to show the whole setup, because I kind of wanted people to be able to see the elaborateness of my setup. And then you can see just here is the game. Then there's that top camera there is over there. And then this is, as you can see, it's capturing just the center monitor. So I'm just going to do some driving, show you that the game audio comes through. Turn off my hazards, turn off parking, indicate right. Just wait for people to let me out. Oh, that's very kind of them, isn't it? Nice of them to let me out. And yeah, so I've got a way to feed in, so you can hear the game audio now, I assume. I can also feed in from the desktop. I can feed in any Discord chats for multiplayer, or I can play Spotify on the desktop and capture that as well. And it's all very complexly routed through all these sound cards, and then I'm just listening to the audio directly through the TV. using a headphone extension cable and my Audio Technicas direct from the back of the television, basically. And as you can see in the middle, if you look down to camera angle 2, you can see that I can look at the chat on the stream there, so I don't have to turn my head around to either one of these huge monitors. Now, I'm not going to be able to show you this properly, but we are getting 80 frames per second on high. It sits around 40-50 frames per second on ultra with 200% scaling, but it just occasionally crashes, which is not really what I want. But I am running at 5760 by 1080p, basically borderline ultra settings at double the resolution, because with the scaling it's double the resolution of the 5760 by 1080p, so it's pulling its weight. I may do some footage of just the center monitor, but I'm seeing, if I look up to the right carefully, I'm getting about 90 frames per second on the highway at that setting with these triple screens. And this card is only really built for 1080p. It recommends 1080p resolution. There's only 8 gigs of VRAM, even though it's GDDR6 and has ray tracing. It's not the be-all and end-all of the greatest card, but my thinking on it is that I'm gonna be probably upgrading to a whole new laptop, whole new GPU in about 2 years' time when Windows 11 comes out, and then deprecating this system back as my streaming PC and running Linux on it and all sorts of things like that. So at the moment, I didn't want to spend 500 quid, 800 quid on a really expensive GPU, and I'm only going to replace it anyway in like 2 years' time. And this is more than enough to keep me going through modern games if I'm just using 1080p on just one screen at the moment. So, which is, I mean, it's holding its own with the triple monitors, really. Like, I've been playing Enlisted, which is not a very well optimized game, at this resolution 5760 by 1080p, and getting in the 80s and hundreds of frames a second. The only issue I've come across thus far with this setup is that with all the 3 screens in Infinity, if you have VSync on in the game, that seems to cause some graphical glitches, like green little dots flaring all over, and I'm not going to demonstrate that because I think, I mean I could, but I'm not going to demonstrate that. But I find this card VSync with triple monitors, it just doesn't want VSync on. So as you can see, it's very comfortable to drive. I've got a huge field of view. I'm just going to pull in, and then I may show you my Elite Dangerous setup as well. So get to the hard shoulder, pull over. I've been playing some Truckers MP with, I've got Pro Mods basically. This is Pro Mods. It's not. I've been playing some Truckers MP with the missus because she's got my old steering wheel, which is an Xbox 360 one, and we've been doing some live streaming. I'm also probably going to be able to. Oh yeah, by the way, the footage you're watching is at 1080p 60 frames per second, 30 frames per second, so it's the right frame rate for mixing with the other stuff. I actually can stream at a much higher quality than what you're seeing at the moment, so just keep that in mind. It's 30 frames per second shy of what I could be doing. I'm also contemplating maybe doing the whole thing at 4K and then streaming at 1080p 60 frames per second scaled down. So let me know your thoughts on whether the image quality of this section is good enough for streaming. I happen to think it is, but I could be wrong. So that's just a brief demonstration of the sort of video output quality. And if you want to know more about how this setup works, come find me on twitch.tv/TechDave official. If you ever see me streaming, follow me and add some likes, and we can chat there in the chat about how this setup is working out for me and how it performs. Or you can at me at drbradley46 or at TechDave on Twitter as well if you want to chat directly, because I'm pretty responsive on there. But yeah, I'm just gonna basically finish up there and do a little outro and conclusions for you, so I will see you with that. So, apologies for the sound of the projector and the microphone in the last bit of the thing. I should have thought to turn that off. I don't necessarily have it on when I'm streaming, but hopefully it wasn't that irritating. I've just edited everything you've watched up until this moment, and the timeline scrubs pretty well with this setup. But there is a little bit of, I'm finding, with Task Manager open, the CPU was maxed out at 100% for some reason, and then when I zeroed it, when I got the actual rendering and editing process just on one monitor out of the three, it seemed to come down significantly. So I don't know how these things work, but it was full at 100% CPU for a very long time. Now it's slowed down. I'm using about 14 gigs of RAM, and GPU utilization is only down to 6, and we're getting about 60 degrees. But I'm only using DaVinci Free, so it's not very GPU bound at all, I don't think. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I've got a lot more editing to do at the moment. So yeah, if I just bring up Task Manager again, trying to play. A few little glitches with DaVinci, there always is. As you can see, I've just edited everything you've already watched. And yeah, there's just a few things to point out really, like as a kind of conclusion. The first thing is that what I'm definitely going to do with this setup is repaste the CPU and the discrete graphics as well, the M2200 Quadro 4GB, as you can probably see on that screen there. Just to slightly improve the performance, eke out a little bit more time before and just lower my thermals, get the CPU and GPU optimized as much as possible. Because what I'm finding when I'm just using the internal GPU, it's alright for video editing, but when I'm kind of gaming on it, even at very low settings, I get a lot of like stutter, like juddering. And I've seen people with the same GPU, the same CPU, get much better performance, so I'm going to work on that. I'm also going to add a United Kingdom keyboard for it. Let me just zoom in. Actually, that's fine. I'm going to add a UK keyboard because I'm still rocking the German keyboard with the broken trackpad buttons. I'm going to probably get a stylus, because you can get a stylus because it's touchscreen. And I'd like to get into some digital drawing and stuff like that. That'd be quite cool. I'm going to add another 2x16 gigs DDR4 2666 MHz RAM. I've set up there to show pictures and average prices from eBay for new parts, but I don't think I'm going to bother doing that for today, because that will be in another video where I review just the ThinkPad P51 and the eGPU, so look out for that. It's absolutely sick, this setup. I'm so mind-blowingly happy with the way it works, and it took a little bit of tweaking to work out. I've got the wood here. Look, it's very wet. I don't know if that comes across on camera. I'm just waiting for that to dry out so I can raise the center monitor. I've got a big wooden slat in my bookcase so that I can put monitors up at that top section there so that I can look up. I think what I need to do is put those silver speakers on the side, put the wood there, and then have the monitors so they sit just flush at the top of that, so that will be done for the future. So that I don't need this laptop here on the desk. So I've got a little bit more real estate for just like input devices, and so that the bottom corner of this bottom bit of the screen is cut off, you see, when I've got the X230 there. But I do want to be able to read the chat, and if it's just there, that'd be perfect. So there's a few upgrades to be done to that, a few additional features required for it to work really well. As I see, you might be able to see there, mentioned editing wasn't great on iFinity. I told you how I sort of resolved that. To see this in action, go to twitch.tv/TechDave official, or look out for live streams on YouTube. I'm mostly going to be doing my streams on Twitch, I think, because I've tried quite a few streams on YouTube recently with this setup, and it seems to lose me subscribers, so evidently my audience are not digging that. If you want to contact me directly, go to twitter.com/drbradley46 to chat and share images of your setups and stuff. Obviously, please like, subscribe, share, show anyone that might find this of interest this video, and let me know in the comments what your feelings are on it. Is it well, it's obviously overkill to the max, but that's kind of the point of it. My cable management is shocking. I'm going to be working on that over the next few weeks or so, probably, because I just wanted to get a functional setup for now that did everything I needed it to do, and then I can go and wire in the things that can be permanent once I've fiddled with it and got it working just right. Because I'm also going to have, this is a music production setup, Ableton across there would be very nice. Just the whole thing for the timeline. And then the second screen up there for the mixer would be pretty cool, or on one of these top monitors that I'm going to add. And then that also, one of the benefits of that is that enables me to live stream production or recording or music because of this dual PC setup. So that would be really good, and all I'd have to do is take a line out of this mixer here into one of the 3 channels on the M box, and then that would all work flawlessly. What else? So future videos. So I do have a live stream planned possibly on YouTube where I'm going to repaste all of my legacy ThinkPads. So I may make a video about repasting the CPU and GPU on this, just a little tutorial just to see how it goes. But I'm thinking on live stream all the rest of my ThinkPads, of which there are many, just repasting the CPUs, just as something to keep some content coming out. I've got an X200 eGPU Windows XP the Part 2 showing video gaming and performance using the eGPU, and how nice it is to have just a portable Windows XP gaming laptop and stuff like that, because that's pretty sweet in like 2023, do you know what I mean? It's just novel using the X200 just as though it's 2008, do you know what I mean? Or something like that, so there'll be some themed video there. And then, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, there'll be a part 2 of just this setup and a review of it and the gaming performance with all the metrics and everything like that, so look out for that. On Twitch, I'm probably going to be streaming Elite Dangerous on this setup. World of Warcraft, I'm probably going to try and stream a little bit of that because I'm sessioning that with a buddy and I'm really enjoying it. And then this Gaming Listed, which I strongly recommend to check out. Also, you'll find links to Controlcast, the software for this, in the description, my Twitch and my Twitter. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, hit me up in the comments with your feelings on it and any solutions to any of the potential problems I've developed. Obviously I'm not using this constantly like this. This is just my beast streaming setup. I've also got like a shed rig as well. So I've got a setup where I can use the T430 or the X230 to parsec into any other system in the house from my shed, where I've now got gigabit Ethernet, so you'll be seeing more about that and maybe a little build video of how I set that up. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I've got to edit this that you're seeing now into this that's there. I've been TechDave. Holler at me in the comments. Peace.